Hello everyone, I am Kronos. Today, I'm at the hospital. There's even a helicopter here. Nothing happened, everything is good. I'm just escorting and giving support to a friend. And so I thought to myself, why wait to get home and make a video when I have this beautiful place right outside while we wait. So look at this. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but look at this shit. It's crazy. Just all the green around, And so here's place to sit. Very pastoralic, I would say. So today we're gonna continue the conversation about I had a conversation again. I mean, it's a continued conversation really with my friend, and you have to. I mean, it's crazy. Look at all the chemtrails. And so we talked earlier about, if you remember, we talked about, I'm talking to myself, if I remember, we talked about him being stuck in traffic and how it connected to Confucius's quote to make the best out of a situation, which connects to this moment right now, right? I'm gonna repeat it. If a lion chases me up a tree, I will greatly enjoy the view from the top. So you make the best of a bad situation, quote unquote. And so what I'm doing right now, instead of just waiting, and I have been up until this moment, and then I found an opportunity to do something productive, and now we're here. And so if you remember, he stopped and he decided that he's not gonna wait because it's actually crazy. Instead of 1 hour, it's like 5 hours, something crazy like that. And so he decided, I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna have a beer, and so he did. And so we talked about we talked about how crazy it is that the traffic, how insane it is that the traffic can be that bad, because it's one thing that it's there is traffic, but there is another thing that you are stuck for hours in a jam on a toll. It's a toll road, like you pay for it and you're still stuck in traffic for 4 hours. So, and he was very frustrated about it. So I told him, well, it's supposed to be that way. Of course. I mean, the system is built for it to be that way. That's the same reason you don't have anywhere to park and you get tickets for that. You get, it's the whole system is rigged against you. So they want you to be stuck in traffic, obviously, angry, wasting your time. It has so many advantages for the Illuminati, you would call them, or however you want to call them, the Cabal, whatever. We're going to talk about that sometime too. So, first of all, he was thinking about public transportation, which is exactly what they're trying to do, right? It's a part of that. Uh, if you are frustrated and you're stuck and you're gonna use public transportation at some point because you're just sick of being stuck in traffic, especially when it gets to that, because to that much, like, it's one thing, but everyone has a breaking point, and so they're pushing it so that people use public transportation so they don't use a private vehicle. The whole point is to make everything public, everything owned by the government, so that you only loan it and you use it, and so they have complete control over you when they do. Because if, for example, you posted something they don't like online and you don't have a car, and they can stop you from traveling, they can stop you from moving anywhere because they have complete control. I mean, imagine a world that nobody has a private car, nobody has a private house, nobody has a private everything. Everything is owned by the government. That is what they want, so that they can loan it to you and they have complete control over it, right? So they can do whatever they want to you, to your freedom, and they don't have to give any answers to anyone. So that's a part of it, because so they're pushing that. On top of that, they use the pandemic that they created, right, to fight, would you say, physical money. They're trying to eliminate all the money, all the paper, so that they have complete control over online. I mean, when it's digitalized, first of all, it has zero value, so they can create value. And second of all, it's completely controllable and you can manipulate it however you want. There's no way to, because it has no actual value and you have complete control over it. No one is looking over your shoulder. You can do whatever you want. So you can create money out of nowhere, which is what they're doing anyway. But you can just decide, I have 10 billion euros right now, That's the whole thing. So that's a part of it. So they're making it disappear. They're using excuses like the pandemic so that you can't use money, cash in public transportation, right? So then you have to buy that card, and then you're bound to that. You can't use for that. Then they slowly but surely eliminate everything you can do with cash. And they even illegalized it in Israel. You can carry up to 10,000 shekels. Like, you are not allowed. It's illegal to carry your own money. It's absolutely insane. So this is a stage before, the 15-minute zones, like in China, that they have. Complete control when you leave, where you go, how you go, what you do. So, and all this time while you're stuck at traffic, you're like on your phone scrolling, right? And they learn everything they need about you while you're mad. They know what triggers you, what you eat, where you shop, who your friends are, where you work, what you like, what you don't like, everything about you, your emotions, your psychological space, your everything. They collect information, your locations, everything. So you're there stuck in traffic, giving them information, paying for it while you do it. So it's a scam. It's a whole scam. You're paying to be spied on. You're gladly accepting this control. And so I told him, think about parking, right? They will give you parking tickets, but it's their job to create enough parking spots, right? So they fail at their job. They don't create enough parking. They create a problem. They don't fix the problem. It's their job, and then they make you pay for it, punish you for not following the rules, that completely destroys and just steps on your freedom completely, your freedom of movement, of like, who the fuck are you to take money over a space? Like, it's ridiculous. It should not be a thing. It shouldn't happen ever. That shouldn't be a thing. Like, paying for parking should be completely free for everyone always, and it should be available, and we have the ability to do it. But the problem is, that's where we got with the conversation, is that we're giving all our taxes, which is a crime in itself. Taxes shouldn't be a thing, but even if as they are, we're giving all those taxes to pedophiles, you know. And it's not about them being pedophiles. That's just a fact. It's about them using. It's about the fact that you think that your money goes so that someone comes and takes out the trash, and when you need the police, so you have the police. But the problem is, they're all private owned companies, basically. The entire government is completely corrupted, and the people that control this are the people that are holding the big pharma and military, everyone that has interests. So basically you're paying them money and they push their interests, which goes against yours. It's a very elaborate scam. Funny how people talk about conspiracy theorists when they are the truth seekers. And the actual conspiracy people are those people, and they actually conspire against you. And that's the truth. So you call the conspiracy theorists, it's the other way around. It's kind of like calling if you are a homicide investigator, someone looks at you and calls you a murderer. Like, it's the other way around, right? So that's for another time. So we talked about the fact that you're paying, like, so you don't have enough parking spots, right? And so you do what you have to do. You stop somewhere, and you stop somewhere that you can, and you have no choice, right? And then comes a guy from the same exact place and takes your money away from you for doing what you have to do in order to live, you know. It's the fact that it's against the law should be against the law. I mean, it's not a crime unless there is a victim, right? I feel like I'm speaking really fast today. Well, so it's not a crime unless there has to be a victim for it to be a crime, right? So that's something that people need to realize. Just because something is in the law doesn't make it right, and you should not follow the law blindly. Absolutely, especially today, the other way around, actually. You should probably, if it's a law, you should probably ask questions about it, because, like, make sure that it actually helps the people and does what it's supposed to do, right? The law is supposed to be in the benefit and the best interest of the people. So when the law doesn't do that, and it doesn't, because you have corrupt politicians who take bribe from private companies that pay them to pass laws that benefit them and fucks us. So you're paying taxes and they go to these people, basically. You're paying for your own demise in a way. When I say you, I mean we. So paying taxes first of all, taxes is a scam, complete scam. It should not be a thing. But even worse, so it's going to, I mean, if it was at least going to what it's supposed to be, at least you have something, but it's going to Satan worshipping pedophiles that use it to abuse you. And we accept it because it's convenient. We're so in it, and dealing with the truth is so hard for, so most people would rather live in a lie, in a sweet lie, instead of facing the truth, the bitter truth. So people prefer the sweet lie over the bitter truth. And that's why we're in this situation. So I asked him back. I told him in this way, as a question, like, think about it. Technology advances all the time. Transportation is cheaper, energy is cheap, everything is a lot cheaper and more affordable, and everything is created more easily. You have AI, like everything is supposed to be cheaper. It's a lot cheaper to make, it's a lot easier. Everything is automated, like, yet the price of living stays the same and gets worse. It's all a part of it too. So we were talking about the fact that so he said, what do you want? This is how it works. What are we gonna do? And he said, there are, like, that's how it works, like, what? And I told him, well, it starts with personal responsibility, right? With each and every one of us. So if I am so let me clarify. We were talking about, I told him, so he said, what you gonna do, not pay taxes? That's what I was gonna talk about. And I said, well, together, if we come together, of course, if only you, then you're gonna be an outsider, and it's gonna be very easy to take care of you, right? To eliminate you. Not necessarily eliminate you like kill you, but you get what I'm saying. But if we come together, and if we unite, and we each take our own responsibility, and don't cooperate with this bullshit anymore, then there will be a change. Because let's say I'm not paying my taxes, right? And then the tax collector, he sees that, he gets the notification, he's like, you know what, paying taxes is a fucking crime. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something else. I'm done with this work. I'm done. And then you have the banker who's like, you can see someone is struggling, right? And they need a loan, right? And they only allow, like the worse you are, the worse conditions you get, right? The more money you make, that's the crazy part. The less you have, the more they take from you. So that banker should be like, no, I'm not gonna give you that crazy loan. I'll give you the best. There should not be. First of all, banks, is a criminal organization. That's a part of it, of course, right? Central banks, especially, they don't provide any value. Think about it. What value does the bank provide? I heard someone said they help you out of debt. Well, no, they put you in debt. That's it's the other way around. See, when you're in a financial problem and you take a loan, then you have to pay more. So basically, they take money for taking money. Like, they don't give you anything back. Like when I go to a shawarma, when I go to a restaurant, I pay money and I get food, right? When I go to a clothing store, I pay money and I get clothes. The bank doesn't give you anything. It just takes. And the craziest part, like, we pay for, like, think about it. You put your card in a machine that's completely automatic. You pay every time you do that. Everything you do on that application, everything you do with the bank, you pay like a little fee, right? For nothing. It's all automated. You even speak to robots. Like, you have to fight. These days you can't even get to the bank. You have to, like, leave messages and talk to AIs, and, like, you have to be like a very patient and very consistent and very, like, it's a struggle. They make it like, I mean, it's on purpose, obviously. It's a criminal organization, so it's all about eventually personal responsibility. And if we each do our part, whatever it is that we're doing, realize, like, if I am a police officer and I get an order to go arrest someone for something that is ridiculous, you know, I'm not gonna do it. Like, when the COVID was, and they gave out fucking tickets to, like, people would open their business or walk outside or just not wear their mask, and they got, like, fines, crazy fines. You remember that? Imagine if the police officers and everything were like, no, we're not gonna do that. I mean, that's crazy, and use their, you know, mind, their logic, and, like, do the right thing. You don't fuck people over, but, like, they don't think, they act like people, and we're in such a divide and conquer state that people just wanna, you know, survive, and they just wanna do whatever it is to not compromise. And that's a real problem, you know. It's a morality problem, because people would rather fuck everyone else just so that they're good, you know. That's a big issue. And look at it. I have to, okay, this thing, I was walking here while talking, and, like, looks like a little, what the hell? Wow, it's like a little, huh, that's crazy. Look at that. I'm like in a little tree, like it's a dome, like a dome from a tree. That's crazy. Look at this, it's so cool. Someone must have made this, right? This is not natural. It can't be. I never seen a tree like this. I thought it was broken. Well, from inside of a tree. And so they've created this system that works against you, and we have to unite and take responsibility personally. That's the only way to change it. Stop cooperating with this. It doesn't have to be this way, you know. We can make a change. We can transform it like that, you know. It's all an illusion that they created. This system, we don't have to follow by the rules, you know. It's not something that we have to do. We're just so used to it. We're so brainwashed. So this police officer goes and hands out 1,000 euros fine to someone who's opened their business so that they can have money to survive, you know, to buy food. And it doesn't click with him, like, what I'm doing is completely wrong, because he will not jeopardize his own self, his job, to not fuck. He doesn't, like, he goes home, he has his salary, right? That's the problem. That's that mentality. We need to understand that anything we do to others, we do to ourselves. That's a realization we have to make, because that's the only way we can make a change, because otherwise we just think about ourselves. So the entire system is working against you, and you can do something to change that. First of all, the first step is to open your eyes and educate yourself and start asking questions. Question everything. Don't take anything for granted or believe anything. Just ask questions all the time. Be a skeptic. Be a be a conspiracy theorist. Look for these things because they happen, and so it's all connected, right? The roads. I mean, they could fix that. Imagine if I told him if they used like 3% of the what they have for wars, what they use for wars, and for to create this dystopia. If they all they need is like that, like 3%, they can fix their road, they can fix anything. Like it's all they need to do. But the problem is you have it should not be in the government's hand in the first place, right? Because then there is no competition and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and there is no oversight. No one is looking over their shoulder. They can do whatever they want. They answer to no one. So of course there's gonna be corruption. Of course people are gonna it's gonna bring out the worst in people, and they're gonna abuse it, especially when they get to that place of power, or so-called power. So then we talked about the fact that it's all a scam. I mean, let's continue. Let's talk about groceries, right? Groceries. When you go to the market, and it's like €5 per kilo I mean, anything. Think about, I mean, I'm trying to translate from shekels. So like you can be paying like €5 for a kilo of grapes, right? That's it's not expensive. It's insane. Like, people don't even realize how crazy that number is. They think it's like they got used to it. €5 for a kilo of grapes is not just, it's crazy, unproportionate, like wildly. Like, it should be like a few cents, at best. That's how much it should be. But you have these monopoles, these big, huge companies that they are all connected, right? And so let's say I have this network of this chain. I control everything. I have Lidl or something, like I have Walmart, right? And where all the big ones, they get together and they decide the prices. So it's not, so there is no competition, right? Instead of competing with each other, they compete with us. They are going against us instead of against each other. So the prices don't drop, they rise gradually because they cooperate. They cooperate, and we buy. That's the real problem, because they can only do it as much as we are willing to pay. So if people are buying, if you buy grapes for €5 a kilo, that's gonna next year it will be 6. Stop buying, first of all, and second of all, go directly to the farmer. Is what we need to do. Cut them off. Stop buying from them. That's all we have to do. And that's true to everything, just not grapes. It's almost everything. Not almost everything is a lot more expensive than it should. Everything, literally everything in the market. They control everything. It's a monopoly, and it's criminal. And it's crazy that people are actually, like, imagine, like, they care. Like, people that work there, like, they are stealing from you. They're cheating you out of everything. They're making your life miserable. They're making it poor. Like they are doing everything to take from you, and people will still have loyalty to these places. Like if you try to steal from somewhere, from like one of these markets, the God will actually like do his job, and he will care. He will actually like try to stop you. Defending the same corporation that's keeping his family poor, like that's overselling him everything, food, like that's the most. And you know what's the worst and the best proof is during the pandemic, if you remember, all those big chains, what they did, instead of providing like, instead of cutting prices because you couldn't do anything but buy from them, right? So they had like it's heaven for them. Like the whole world is on lockdown and all they can go out to do is buy groceries and they can order it. So you are in business heaven. Like, so what do you do when everyone are desperate and they have to buy from you? Well, they raise the prices, right? You remember? They raised the prices instead of lowering them. So instead of showing compassion, and they show the true colors. They took advantage of the situation, of people's misery and disaster and like desperation. And these are the same, and then you go and you protect this. Why? You should let it fall. Like, if people actually knew where they're living, if they actually knew what's actually happening, I promise you there will be revolts. People would be outraged, like, and they would tear places like this apart. People would go to like Walmart and start and just destroy everything and like steal everything, because they have been stealing from us forever now, and they are doing it consciously, systematically. This is business. All they give a shit about is making money. You don't matter. You're a product. They use you. And so we need to understand that and stand against it. Or should I say, not cooperate with it anymore. And there will be a change. Only then. It's so crazy that I'm in this tree house. Like, beautiful tree. So, oh, it's beautiful. So, we as conscious people that appreciate freedom, and we know that we are free souls, immortal souls, we are gods, right? We can't, once you realize that what you are, who you are, you cannot take that and just be quiet, and you cannot take that and just accept it. It turns something in you, outrageous, because you know it's wrong. It's wrong, and how wrong it is. And you want to make a change because you feel the suffering, needless suffering. So much needless suffering. Doesn't have to be that way. We can change it. It's up to us. That banker, as I said, is a human, like he's suffering from, like he's oppressed just like we are, like everyone else. And that worker at like the tax collector, he's the same. Like, that's the irony of it all. We are doing this to ourselves. We are fucking ourselves. It's us doing it to us. It's doing to your neighbor. We're doing it to our friends, family, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, instead of uniting together and looking at. But that's what they're doing. They're keeping us occupied and depressed and stuck on that road, angry, cursing and blaming everything except who's actually at fault. And these people we'll get to them. But the point, my point is, for this video, is the system is rigged against you. You have to realize that first. That's the first step. That's what. So, the first step is realizing it, is understanding, is intellectually like, okay, and asking questions all the time due to that. Like, that's how you get to that. You ask questions, unless you stumble upon it somehow. But you can't be, really. If you don't ask questions, how are you going to get any answers? And if you keep asking the same questions, you're going to get the same answers, right? So you need to keep asking questions, and ask questions about everything. And that's how you come to real wisdom and real awakening. As far as consciously, as far as this dimension goes, in this, like this existence right here, right now, right? Because it goes a lot deeper than that. So it all started from like being stuck in traffic, right? And look where we get, where we're at. That's the thing. It all goes deeper, and if you look at things like how Einstein said, he said, "I'm not smarter than everyone. I just remain with problems longer." So that's how you actually, you have no idea how smart you really are, because you don't even give yourself a shot. But if you do, I just want to lay down on this little white. So if you give yourself a chance, I promise you would realize very fast that you're a lot smarter than you think. I realize you just don't give yourself that chance. So yeah, so do that. Look inside more, and ask questions. It's not about traffic. It's about your what you learn from it, right? Again, we go back to learning. We can learn from everything. So his frustration and anger led him to asking questions, which that's how you learn. And that's how I learn, that's how we all learn. And we need to realize that it's not easy, it's not easy, and these questions have hard answers. Sometimes it's very hard to accept them, because it breaks your entire reality. Like, you feel like you've been fooled, and many people build their entire life around this system. And so when you show them the faults, they will do everything in their power to resist you and to reject it, and they will do anything to lie to them, to you, to themselves. They will deny it completely without giving it a second thought, because they are ignorant to the truth, and they connect their identity with it. So it hurts their ego too much. So they prefer to not do it, and to instead live in that sweet lie that we talked about. And it's hard, it's painful coming to truth. But only until you do that, you will be a slave to the lie, and that's a lot worse. You can't deal with the lie, you can't do nothing with it, because it's not true. It's an illusion. And I think Jung said that as well. He said, one does not face his demons by coming, by bringing the light, the shadows to the light, the light to the shadow. Fuck, I forgot. One does not become conscious by bringing, by imagining figures. Okay, so I think it's like one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light. He does so by, again, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by bringing the darkness to the light. Something like that. Okay, I fucked it up completely, for sure. But you get the point. The point is you have to face reality and truth. Otherwise you can't do nothing to change it. And you have to face it. So that's how you do it, and it's painful. Like every real lesson, it's painful. And you still have to do it. And we all do it at some point. We all have to do it at some point. It's just a matter of when. And the sooner you do it, the better you are, the faster and the less painful it is. You don't have to break older patterns and ways of thinking. So I'm gonna show you the tree again. I mean, look at this. What the hell? Look at this. I've never seen anything like this before. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, so in conclusion, it's not about traffic. It's not about, this is about why you're stuck in traffic, for real. I would say it's a lot deeper, right? And why you're paying for so much for so little, and why we're living in this dystopian, even if you think not, you're wrong. And there is a philosopher, I forgot his name, that talked about this. Oh, he's so famous. How did I forget? Well, look at this. There's a bird. Oh, hello. Say hello to YouTube. Look at it. Yeah. Anyway, I guess on that note, that beautiful bird and tree, we will end. And I will see you next time.